Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do a video about, it's going to be a little bit like decentering men, but more so on why, even with that, you shouldn't just look at decentering men as romantic partners, but like men in general, especially when it comes to platonic relationships. And the reason why I say this is that most women seek companionship through their friendships, and that's not how men view their friendships with women. And if a man is in your life, it's definitely for a reason. And the majority rules, because I know not every man is the same, but the majority rules, and 9 times out of 10, you're in his life for lust or labor. Most men only see women one of two ways: lust or labor. I would say lust or love, but I don't believe in the Madonna whore complex. I believe it's either some type of sexual or emotional labor. If a man is in your face, it's definitely for a reason. I think the only exception to this is the term nesting partners, which I got from Exoticals United. You should check that video out after you finish this one. But if a man sees the opportunity in you that, you'd be a good nesting partner, you'd go 50-50, you'd be his baby maker, his dishwasher, he will use your feminine attributes and abilities at his disposal without even seeing you in a sexual or sometimes even emotional manner. And there's a saying that where men lust, they cannot love, and where they love, they cannot lust. So it's like no matter how close you guys were in the beginning, once you become a man's wife, it's almost like he wants to sleep with anyone but you. So I found that very interesting. So let's say you are friends with a guy and you want to know if it's a truly balanced friendship or if it's more like a parasite thing. One of the things you can look for is emotional labor. So, emotional labor shows up in many ways. In some cases, it can be natural and healthy when it's like done like in the proper way. But 9 times out of 10, a man is gaining something tangible or he's being invested into intellectually and emotionally by a woman that he's quote unquote just friends with. Even if the relationship is platonic, and because 9 times out of 10, when a guy says he's just friends, it's really just some girl that he wants to be with, but he can't for whatever reason. Maybe he was once with her and she's an ex, and they say they're just friends in case they want to get back together, or one person is friend zone with the other person, but there was always some type of interest. But let's just say this actually is a platonic friendship and he is completely unattracted to this person. He's still getting something tangible from it. And this looks like seeking emotional guidance only a woman can give you, spiritually uplifting him when he's down bad, speaking life into him, which I always say never do because you could be interrupting his bad karma, like literally. But yeah, this also looks like if he's your friend, teaching him game on other girls and stuff like that. And I just feel like when a guy has multiple groups of women in his life, especially women that he's not attracted to, they find other ways to be valuable to him, whether it's condoning and consulting his behavior, like some type of life coach. Basically, these type of women will help him get down payments on his apartment or fill out his resumes for him, like just doing something with her feminine essence, like organizing his life, cleaning out his closet, stuff like that, helping with his skincare, basically leveling him up in ways that only a woman could. If you think about it, unless, of course, you have a genuine, healthy relationship with a male who's completely platonic and in your life for a specific reason, and maybe he's invested with another woman, 9 times out of 10, that friendship that you're with that guy is one, not a genuine friendship. And when it comes to men, they assume that emotional labor is not a thing. And when you're basically pouring all your energy into this person, mind you, if you weren't pretty, he wouldn't be there in the first place. So you wake up, you have to be beautiful. You have to be, comforting for this person and be there when they're down bad and out and stuff. Especially if you're like the nice girl type. And for you to not realize that he's getting so much more from this friendship that you're getting, he's like basically counting on that. And with you being a woman, we go through different cycles in a month. And I like to go with my cycle, if that makes sense. Like I like to, like whatever cycle I'm in that week, I'll just allow my body to do that. So if I have a man in my life who's not pouring into me, and I've spent my entire, you know how it is, ladies, when you're ovulating, you just feel like you got more energy, you feel more fun. But if I'm at that point where it's like, you know, that time of the month is slowing down, I'm getting a little bit, and you haven't poured into me, that's how you know when someone's not meant to be in your life, male or female, one. Because if you're helping people out, no one's helping you out when you're down and out. That's the one thing. But when it comes to men, especially men like this, they want the best of you, but they're never there for when, you know, you actually need them and stuff. And when it comes to men, they work on a 24-hour cycle. They wake up every morning with a stiff one, ready to go hunting. And they see us as objects to be consumed. And they don't care how interesting you are, how multifaceted you are. You're just a walking piece of meat to them. And that's really hard for some women to like grasp. But it's the truth. So I'm going to show you guys some videos just to give you a little bit more context on that. But I am 100% men and women cannot be friends unless there's some type of, you know, professional reason why. But in case you are friends with a guy, I want you to know he's not there for no reason.
You believe that men and women can be just friends?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I mean, we're all men.
I know.
So, of course, we're going to have those feelings. And we can be content with just friendship, and we can be silent regarding those feelings, but we're going to have them.
Yes.
No. No.
Yes.
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 I don't believe so. No.
I guess what I'm saying is no.
Okay, good.
Backpack road bacon and run to...
Okay, we'll walk with you. Do you believe men and women can be just friends?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, do you have any guy friends right now who you're just friends with?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All my best friends are guys. Dave.
Trevor.
Taylor Mulford.
Bobby.
Yeah.
How long have you known Trevor?
2 years.
Of those guy friends, do you think any of them secretly like you? And be honest.
Probably. Yeah.
Do you think that guy is interested in you?
Yes.
Would Dave hook up with you if you gave him the chance?
Well, yeah.
Do you think Trevor liked you?
Yeah.
And
I know I did. Yes.
would he hook up with you if you wanted to hook up?
Yeah.
So he likes you. Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is men and women can't be friends.
No, we can be friends.
This is why men and women can never be just friends. I once had a boyfriend who kind of enlightened me. He told me, every guy that you think you're friends with would sleep with you if he had the opportunity to. And I was so dismissive of that. Like, that's not true. You don't know them like I know them. And guess what? 99% of the time, eventually, those guys would make a move on me. Even if it was just a quick comment when they were drunk, it's kind of like they just throw out a fishing line to see if you'll nibble, and if you don't, they just reel it back in. And a lot of times when I would reject those advances from guy friends, they would just stop being friends with me in total. So obviously being my friend was just a fake show to see if he could get something more out of me. Or I've had guy friends who were like, don't worry, I would never do that. I'm a good guy. And then one day they just turn the conversation really sexual or send me a suggestive photo like, be fucking for real. Of course, this doesn't go for all guys. I do have a few guy friends who never made a move on me, and I value those friendships very deeply. But let's be realistic, majority rules. Even if you don't have intentions of being with them, to be real with you, most men are actually usually not even friends with women they wouldn't potentially want to unless you are friends based on a very specific situational thing like work, school, or if you are just part of a larger friend group, those situations are different. But one-on-one, best friends between a straight man and straight woman does not exist, unless he's like gay, of course. Straight men and straight women usually can't be friends unless they're both completely unattracted to each other. Completely conventionally unattractive, which is incredibly rare. They're very visual. Actually, a lot of men will completely ignore your existence unless you are at least somewhat conventionally attractive. And I know this because I grew up ugly. And the second I got prettier, the way men treated me was a complete 180. Suddenly guys were nice to me, would smile when they talk to me, want to be my friend, do favors for me, hold doors open. And a lot of times it's not because they're kind, it's because unfortunately a lot of people don't see the point in being nice to someone unless they can potentially get something out of them. A lot of men, if they see you as unattractive, they don't even see you. A lot of them won't even make eye contact with you. I know it's harsh to hear, but guess what? It's a harsh world. You might not realize it now, but that guy friend is most likely just waiting around for the right opportunity to make a move on you. I don't want this to be as pessimistic as it sounds, but I have rarely been proven wrong. And just like girls, you know when your boyfriend has a girl in his life and you don't like her because you can just tell that something's off by the way she looks at him or laughs at his joke. You just know. Girls know girls and guys know guys. They can spot this behavior even before you can. So if your boyfriend is uncomfortable because of a certain dude you're friends with, I'm not saying you need to cut them off entirely, because there are some guys who will be unreasonably jealous of their girlfriends. But don't completely ignore what he's saying, because you might want to reanalyze that situation again, because you would want him to do the same for you. Especially if the friends are exes. You can't be friends with your ex unless you have kids together or some legal reason that you need to stay in communication. But that's a whole other video. If your boyfriend is trying to convince you it's okay to still be friends with his ex, he's lying to you. He's probably just keeping her around as backup for if you guys break up, so he still has someone on his roster. And when you break up, you realize it was always the people who they told you not to worry about. Follow your intuition. But the thing is, as women, sometimes we don't notice this. We just assume everyone wants to be our friend. But for men, it's not the same. Most men see no reason in pursuing female friendships, so a lot of times the girls aren't even aware that they're in this sort of fake friendship. Be cautious, be skeptical. Be careful who of the opposite sex you befriend, unless you two would potentially sleep with them.
Can guys have platonic girl best friends and vice versa? Nope. I just started dating someone who was asking me to see my guy best friend less because he doesn't believe you can be best friends with opposite gender and not have any feelings.
Oh, we're still on the same question.
Yeah.
Wait. But what is this girl's scenario? Is she like hanging out with her guy best friend one-on-one and then she also has a boyfriend?
Seems like it.
I don't mean this in a sexist way at all, but
that guy is trying to fuck probably.
If you're in a truly platonic relationship, you would always choose as a guy to hang out with another guy. You never choose a girl to hang out over a guy unless you thought there's some 1%, 2%, 50 that eventually you're going to fuck that girl. That's just how it goes.
Like if you give them the chance, they would.
They would.
Yeah.
Which means it's not platonic.
Unless there's no physical attraction.
But then you're not going to hang out with that person.
Why? Guys and girls can be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can be friends in groups and stuff.
Yeah, but it's like, hey, what are you doing today? Come over and watch the Pats. No chance.
Weird. One-on-one?
Yeah, no. Right. Not happening. Hey, want to bet the game? Hey, want to go do this? No. Fuck no. Want to go to a bar? No.
So the thing about men is that they're not really like us. I always like to use the analogy that if two girls find out they're screwing the same guy, they'll probably like fight forever, they'll be like foes forever, even if they, long stop messing with the guy. But if two guys find out they're screwing the same girl, they give each other a high five, So I've always noticed that for some reason, women are, they're like divided, like against themselves, like in a way. And I don't want to just label people as like pick-me's and stuff like that, because there's a lot of nuance to that. And I actually want to make a video about light and dark feminine energy and how to balance that, not just for relationships, but just for yourself. But the thing with men is that they're almost like, I really don't remember the word for it, but if anyone out there watches Rick and Morty, there's an episode where, and just bear with me here, this is going to sound insane, but there's an episode where the main character, Rick, he's, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or something is a planet, but the planet, there's like a whole bunch of different people on the planet, but they're all the same person. And even though they look different, they act different, they all have different jobs, they all do their own thing, like they're all the same thing, And I feel like men are like that, like regardless of like race, gender, age, religion, when it comes to men, if they can agree on one thing, it's how they feel about women. And I think women, especially women that have good relationships with men in their life, that don't understand where some other women are coming from when we talk about the things that we know what men are capable of, it's hard for them to understand because they have this relationship where this man sees you as someone who sees the best in him. So that's what he'll show you. But if he sees you as an object of lust, he won't be able to control himself, and he will, project his carnal desires onto you. So I think that's where the love versus lust conversation comes in, because a lot of men cannot turn off their lust unless you are a family member, a minor, someone who's taken by another man that he respects. Most men cannot turn off their lust for women. They just can't help it. So, with that being said, just understanding life through a man's eyes and how they actually view women, you can understand how one would say a male and female friendship can actually exist, at least in the ways that I see most male and female friendships. And this doesn't just go for like straight men. I feel the same way about gay men as well. I think all men are obsessed with women, even the gay ones, if not especially the gay ones. It's just something that they can't control, and sometimes they find ways to abuse that. And just being aware of that and being aware of the men you let in your space and understanding that they should be bringing value to your life regardless if they're your romantic partner or not, that's something that, I feel like should definitely be discussed more. Also, if you choose to still remain friends with a guy, just know that he's not going to see it as a genuine friendship. He's going to see it as you friend zoning him. And that basically is going to make him resent you. And one thing I always say is never give a guy that, you rejected a few times or for a long time a chance, even if he's like your friend or anything, because 9 times out of 10, they're playing like the nice guy complex and they pretend to be like emotionally available and give a crap about what you have going on. But in actuality, they resent you. And they feel like they have to use the title friend to get close to you. So that's just my personal opinion. I don't believe that men actually respect women enough or even consider women enough valuable for genuine friendship without it being exploitative in some way. And even the nicer guys that don't even really intend to do this, essentially they just do. They're either going to be attracted to you and hope that you put out one day, or once they realize they're not attracted to you at all, or maybe you've lost your pretty privilege and you're no longer attractive, they will keep you around if they find other valuable ways to exploit you. They definitely have a hive mind, and they're all the same. So, in my personal opinion, and I think I said this before, Janelle Monáe, she said that women should like pick one day a year or something where we all just refuse to have sex with men. But I say let's take it up a notch. Let's do it once a week. When I say ignore men, I mean like they're not there. Ladies of color especially. Have you ever been somewhere and there was like a racist white person and they refused to acknowledge your existence? Like it's like you weren't there, like you were a ghost. I don't know. If you ever experienced that, let me know. But that's how I would do these ninjas. I would definitely, because I feel like women don't understand how much men value just looking at women, just being in the presence of a woman that they're attracted to, what that does for them. Like the cheerleader effect, like just being a beautiful woman, wanting good for him, that really drives a man. Like it really does. And, as ladies, when we put on our dresses and put on our perfume and we go out and get compliments, it feels nice, but it feels even better for them to give them. And we've never understood how valuable we really are. And I think that's why men hate sex workers, because they know how valuable, not even the sex, not even the beauty. If you know anything about sex work, there's a term called girlfriend experience, where men will not just pay for intercourse, but for genuine connection and genuine, feminine touch. And they need this. So for the men that act like, they could care less about women and stuff like that, or they're not pressed to screw their female friends, it's a lie. They need your energy. They feed off of it. They consume it. Men are obsessed with just trying to figure women out. They can't help it, even if they're gay. I think it would be amazing if women withdraw themselves a lot more and make men, even if it's platonic, make them work for your attention. Even if it's negative attention, they still feed off of that. And some men know they will never get, a woman's attention in that way, so they will purposely provoke you just so that you can look their way. So don't even do that. When I tell you, just treat these men like they're robots, like customer service, like don't put any emotion into it. And that's what I like to do. If I feel like, you know, especially if I'm dealing with a guy, like if it's like a job or something and I can't get away from the guy and I can tell he's purposely provoking me just to get my energy, even if it's not anything like violent or anything, maybe it's just jokes or, you know, giving me a hard time but then trying to help me, like, you know, just weird things guys do when they like you but they low-key hate you, I will just act like I don't have emotions around them. It'll be completely business professional, like I'm a robot. Like I will refuse to give them an ounce of energy. And I think that, you know, once women understand how valuable just being able to interact with a woman is for a man, you won't do it so freely. And I think that when it comes to, you know, men that can't adhere to this, they're going to eventually get wiped out. If women do the right thing and stop procreating with these type of men, they're going to get with it or get lost. And the men that can't get with it, they're going to get wiped out. Because men, if women were to do this, men would have no choice but to step up to the plate. And I remember seeing a video on TikTok about some guys saying that women's standards are getting too high and men are about to start doing violent things to women and stuff like that if we keep raising our standards. And there was another trend where men were hitting women in New York City with rocks in their face. Like they would try to talk to a girl, and if she denied, they would hit her with a rock. And so I think that this, of course, might not always be the safest thing. Some women, even if they don't want to give a guy a number, they'll do it just for safety. So I'm not saying just be a total, you know, bitch for your own safety. But in places where, you know, you can get away with it, I would definitely choose not to react and not to invest your energy into places that you're never going to get anything from. So, yeah, men are not capable of being genuine friends with women. In fact, some studies show that when a man is speaking to a woman or when a woman's speaking to a man and he's not attracted to her, the part that, you know, controls irritation and being annoyed lights up in his brain. Like literally. And anyone who's lost their privilege and got it back, or, you know, maybe leveled up and glowed up and maybe got pretty privilege out of nowhere, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, she's just a friend. I want you to remember the study that they did on men and women's brains, on how their brains respond when they're unattracted to somebody. In this study, they found that when a man is talking to a woman that he's not attracted to, the part of his brain that shows he's annoyed and irritated lights up. If he has a female friend that he gets along with super well, there's a huge chance he probably finds her at least somewhat attractive. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't let your boyfriend have friends that are female, but I am saying you should make sure you're asking all the right questions. Like, have you ever expressed interest in your girl best friend? Have you ever done anything with X, Y, and Z person? Because 9 times out of 10, the female friends that men have are females that have rejected them and they've now settled for friendship and they're hoping for maybe the possibility of more in the future. Do with that information what you will.
Be watching men and studying men around other men. If you watch men around other men, you're gonna start to notice something, okay? Quick story time. So I used to date this white guy one time, and we went to a restaurant, and the first guy that approached us he looked Middle Eastern. He was very handsome. Instantly, I noticed that he kind of looked like the guy that I was with, but he looked like maybe like 20 years older than him. So I'm like, he looks like you. And he was like, you think so? I'm like, yeah, he looks like you, just 20 years older. He looks just like you. And he's looking at him, and I know he could tell the dude was handsome. I told the dude, I'm like, y'all look alike. You just look older. Like, he literally looked like a zaddy, okay? So what ended up happening was they kept eyeballing each other. Okay, now we're sitting at the bar. We're sitting at the bar and they're eyeballing each other. And I'm watching. I'm like, okay, y'all. So the guy I'm on a date with, he breaks the ice, right? He breaks the ice and he was like, where you from? And then the guy, he instantly, like, his eyes lit up. He was like, oh, I'm from somewhere in the Middle East, you know. And then they get to talking. Mind y'all, I sat there quiet as a mouse, cute and mute, and I was just watching. I was like, okay. Y'all, they literally hit it off. When I say hit it off. Eyes lit up and everything. And I'm like, I ain't never seen men eyes light up when they see, like, women. Like, no offense, but I don't see men eyes lighting up and getting all excited and having a genuine conversation with women the way these two, they just hit it off, y'all. So I was like, okay, like, I'm analyzing body language. I'm looking, they looked really engaged with each other, like body language, leaning forward, looking at each other's eyes, nodding the head. And I was like, huh, okay. I looked at him and then it was time to go. And then he was like, what? And I was like, y'all hit it off. He was like, yeah, he's a cool dude. He's really cool. We could be really good friends. I'm like, I bet y'all could. I bet y'all could. So I say this to say, y'all, because there's been studies that came out showing that when men look at each other in the eye, they have a lot of brain activity that goes on. But whenever they look at women in the eye, nothing. On top of that, studies are showing men only look at women as objects. So boobies and the behind is what they see when they look at women. What's her boobie size? What's her behind size? That's literally all they see when they look at women. They don't think about anything else. Their brain goes dead when we talk to them. This is why they don't listen to us. Y'all need to start looking and watching how men behave around other men.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Thank you again if you got to the end of this. I know it was a lot of information to retain and process, but I just really wanted to give you guys this because I did have a few like male friends growing up. And I think when we were in the sandbox and we're all still kids and we hadn't hit puberty, it was genuine. But you know, like once you become a man and a woman, there's just certain things that don't apply anymore. And I had to figure that out the hard way. So if there's anyone out there going through anything like that, I definitely want to give you a heads up. And if you are more of an extroverted person, more of a socialite, having a group of men in your life that are genuine platonic people that genuinely care about you is amazing. So I'm not saying, don't, invest into good relationships with men. But if someone is in your life simply because they're a friend, chances are they're a leech and they're mooching off of you in some type of way, or they're preying on your downfall. Because any man that really cares about you is going to bring some type of value to your life, period.